Welcome to the Powercat Podcast, the original K-State sports show. Now let's go to the Flint Hills, home of GPC's hidden studio. Here's your host, Ryan Gilbert.
Welcome in here to a special edition of the Powercat Podcast. I'm Ryan Gilbert of GoPowercat.com, joined today by Clent, Stewart, former Kansas State guard, and also former coach of K-State freshman David Castillo. Also joined by J.O. Jordan Henriquez, former forward for K-State, also a former GA. But for today's purposes, more importantly, these guys, J.O. is going to be general manager and Clent Stewart an assistant coach for the Purple Rain, okay? In the TBT. It's not purple and black anymore. Purple Rain here for the K-State alumni participating in the TBT. If anybody doesn't know what that is, it's a group of really anybody, but K-State alumni here, among others, are forming together for their shot to win $1 million. But gentlemen, how y'all doing today?
Great. Yeah, doing good, man. Doing good. We're excited about this summer. J.O.'s put together a really good team, man. And so we're really excited to get things rolling here pretty soon.
Well, let's get right into it with the team, with the roster. J.O., this is probably more for you as the GM, but you've got notable guys on there. Jacob Pullen, obviously, is right at the top of that list. But, Kamau Stokes, Cartier Jada, Stephen Hurt, Justin Edwards, among others, are going to be on there. So just walk us through what that roster is going to look like. I know there's still some moving parts on there with some guys in their summer league stuff with the NBA. But what is that looking like right now?
We're looking good. We're pretty much, our roster is pretty much finalized. This is probably, from a roster depth standpoint, the deepest we've been in some years. So that's a huge plus with, going into the tournament and knowing, sometimes there's back-to-back games. I know that format's a little different this year, but, in the past we've had to have, play back-to-back games with less bodies. And that's kind of, affected us in a negative way. But this year, just really having the roster depth and having our main K-State guys being a part of this, to continue, what we're doing on and off the court. It's been great, putting the roster together. Guys have been great in their communication with, the things that they need and just keeping me up to date with their schedule and what they got going on. But, great to have Jacob Pullen back. He's a TBT veteran now at this point. He's been playing for some years now, on and off. So it's great to have him lead the pack. But at the same time, just to have a core group of young guys around him and guys that have the experience as well, just playing professionally. And even guys that have the experience playing in TBT in general, because it's a different format from playing professionally.
Real quick, I'm curious, what went behind the decision to go to Purple Rain and ditch the purple and black name?
Yeah, so we thought about, like the rain, like you reign your empire. So that's kind of where we got it from.
Okay.
It came from DJ, actually. We just had to make sure we was good in the state of Kansas with Purple Rain, because I believe that belongs to a living legend. I'm sorry, not living legend, but a legend R&B singer that has the Purple Rain album. But for us, we loved it. And then once we got the logo, the custom logo and design behind it, it matched perfect with us. So, yeah, we're going to roll with it from here on out.
You mentioned DJ, Curtis Kelly, Martavius Irving, and there's a whole coaching staff that you guys have put together, which kind of just exemplifies how serious this kind of is for you. It's not just get together and go scrimmage against some random team, right? You guys are having a training camp, a scrimmage against KU and their alumni team. That's at Mass Street, I think is their name, right? So
Correct.
You guys are, it's a real deal for you guys to compete in this thing.
Yeah, and we've kind of manifested that over the years of just wanting to put everything together and just giving guys time for us to prepare to go out and compete. That's been one of the biggest things for us over the last couple of years, is just kind of giving ourselves as a coaching staff and giving the guys with their minds and body and their families, for them to figure out a good time to be here and just, get that training camp time in, because, TBT is real. It's on a whole nother scale now with the level of competition. The level of competition has always been good because the alumni teams and the awareness teams, but now you got guys like Shaquille O'Neal, who's now putting in a team in TBT, whereas, he's putting a team in to compete. His sons will probably play on the team eventually. I think one of his sons are playing on it this year. but he's not coming in just to get some good games. And no, he put that team together to come in and win, and that's always been our mindset. We had the Elite Eight run back in 2016, and we want to get further than that.
And not everybody can be in it, right? The TBT wants you and your team back year in and year out, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah. Is there voting? Is that what kind of goes into that, or just kind of?
Nah, it used to be voting. TBT used to have the voting system. Now it's just really communicating with TBT and them wanting you, and them also knowing the value that you bring for them. So that's what we've always been good at, especially with our fan base. We always thank the fans because they come in and they come in and support us every year, and they'll travel from wherever in Kansas to come watch us play in Wichita.
Clent, can maybe have you jump in here a little bit with, J.O. mentioned the roster and the depth, but what are some of the other reasons that you believe that this year can be the year for the Purple Rain?
Well, yeah, I think, I mean, you mentioned the roster. Obviously, excited to have Jacob back. I mean, he got the all-time leading scorer for K-State, and what he's obviously done in his years playing in it. And we think, that's obviously led to some other guys wanting to play as well. But we do have a really good mix of guards that can score the ball, but that can also get up and down the floor. We got some bigs, that we think are versatile and in spots. And so we'll be able to play a few different ways, depending upon the matchup, and so I think that's one of the things last year that maybe hurt us is just, we weren't able to match up with Arkansas, and they had a really quick guard, and then they had a big that was really, really good on pick and roll. And we think with the core group that we have this year, we'll be able to switch matchups around, interchange the guys. As J.O. mentioned, we can go 1 through 10, or 12, and there's not going to be a drop off. So, we're really just excited about the team. Obviously, if we can get Snead, it'd be great. We'll kind of see what happens with him with the NBA Summer League, but he'll obviously be a great piece for us if we can have him. And it's going to be a fun year. So, but it's tough competition. So we'll start out against Team Colorado, and they're good. And so it's I think last year, our first round game, we felt, hey, we go in there and win that, and then obviously get a chance to match up with Arkansas. And this year, this first round game is really like a second or third round game, because Team Colorado is good. So we're going to have to be prepared and be ready.
Yeah, you mentioned sort of the region. You got Team Colorado up in that first round, but Wichita State, their alumni. It's not going to be easy, right? But I'm sure you guys are embracing that challenge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's kind of like our experience as student athletes. Based on your overall record, you get seeded to play in NCAA tournament. So you got to go in prepared at all costs. Because is win or go home. So for us, we've been doing it for quite some time now, especially on the coaching side. So for us, it's very important to just take one day at a time and just stack days. We will have 9 to 10 days to get ready to play our first game. But, we just try not to cram everything in at once, get to know the guys, let the guys get to know each other on the floor, because not a lot of them play together. And that's the beauty of TBT and Purple Rain is, we have our mix of guys, guys that are younger, guys that are older, guys that are just coming out of college, like a Dejuan Gordon, who we hope to see at TBT, but he may get a Summer League invite as well, just based on the year that he's had. But it's a good combination of things, guys to put together just because of how long this tournament can go, even though it's like 2 weeks, but the toll it puts on your body over that time is challenging, and that's why you only see a few people win it. You don't really see anybody win it back to back or anything like that because it's a tough tournament, and it just keeps getting more challenging with the competition that's coming in. It keeps getting added in.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be missed on. And we're talking about our roster and the former K-State players on our roster. But, one thing that J.O.'s also done is, when you look at our staff and who's kind of involved behind the scenes, I mean, we have all K-State guys, and so you talk about J.O. as the GM and head coach, and obviously brought me on last year to help with assistant coaching, Curtis Kelly. Tay's not playing this year; he's helping with coaching and some of the behind the scenes stuff. DJ obviously as well; he's going to be playing, but he's still helping behind the scenes, and then even Rodney Magruder as well. So you look at even our staff. That's what makes it fun is we have a lot of K-State guys. We all bleed purple. We all have a lot of love for the school and what it was able to provide for us. And We want to see, our younger guys do well, obviously in this TBT, but not just in that, just in life in general, and so it's a fun time for us to get back together and be able to not only compete in the TBT, but also just get some bonding and relationships and build those throughout our lives.
It's pretty similar. You guys talk about the roster, and it's a group of guys that kind of have to gel together. It's no different than any college basketball team out there in the current world with the transfer portal. So, well, I'm excited to see how that group can come to form together over that training camp period. But, if you're a K-State fan, I think it's awesome to see that it doesn't matter when you played. It doesn't matter what head coach you played for at K-State. As long as you wore that purple jersey, you guys are all coming together. And I know there's some other guys from different schools, but at the end of the day, if you're a Wildcat, you're a Wildcat.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, and we had similar experiences, right? Which is the coolest thing, right? I mean, we all now Manhattan's grown tremendously since I was there in 2004 through 2008, but anytime we get a chance to obviously get back to Manhattan and be able to experience, kind of what we experienced as players, and even though we go through different eras and different coaches. We're all obviously familiar with the school, familiar with the practice facility, familiar with the grind we had to go through, familiar with the fan base, that has love for us. And that's what makes it fun.
Well, you guys are going to be getting back here to Manhattan, obviously, for that camp. Walk us through what that's looking like.
Yeah, so we'll be at Manhattan Christian College on the 15th and 16th of July. We'll plan on just, engaging with the kids, having the kids engage with us, even the parents as well, whether they stay there the duration of the camp or, drop the kids off and come back. We just want to make this as much as a family environment as much as possible, just because, we haven't done a camp yet. And, we want this to be something that we're doing every year in Manhattan. And then just for the foreseeable future as well. We got a lot of things trending in the right direction outside of just, picking up the ball and playing and competing for TBT, try to win $1 million. A part of this journey is just getting back in Manhattan, getting back in Kansas, and just really trying to engage with the fans as much as possible.
You guys going to get to maybe scrimmage the current team for K-State, anything like that, get together with those guys?
Yeah, we'll definitely do that over the time being of us being there, and it'll be good for both of us. Coach Tang and his guys and his kids, they'll get to play against pros. That's something they don't get to do every day as they're competing against one another and just trying to get better every day. The biggest thing is, the experience. And then, hopefully, those young guys, aren't afraid to ask questions, for guys that's been doing it for a long time. And they hope to be in their shoes, in the future, just playing basketball professionally, whether it's in the NBA or any other level. So, that's the beauty of getting back into Manhattan and having a relationship with Coach Tang and his staff, with him opening those doors for us to come in and just be around the team and having us access, to the facility, just like the weight room and the training room as well. Those things, pros, we need that. I say we as if I'm still a pro, but I'm probably going to need it when I'm there. I won't be playing or competing in practice, but, just got to take care of the body at the end of the day. So, it's been a lot of love with K-State, and I'm excited to get after it with their guys and just to learn as much as possible. I mean, Coach Tang has a ton of coaching experience and a ton of NBA guys, so just to be around him and his energy and see how he does it. I mean, I've seen it last year for the first time last summer, but just to continue to be around it day by day it's a blessing.
Yeah, Clent, you're obviously probably a little bit more familiar with Tang just because of David Castillo's recruitment. I know you played a big part in that, but for both of you guys, just how awesome is it to see Tang in the direction that this program is going in right now?
Yeah, I mean, what he's been able to do in a short amount of time has been phenomenal. I know obviously last year, wished to had a little bit more success, but he's been able to put together guys, and we'll kind of see how this year pans out. It's gonna be a lot of guys from different backgrounds, but I think we have a lot of talent that he's been able to get in there, and he's proven, he obviously can recruit, which is good. Him and the staff, and it's been fun. It's been fun just seeing the energy around K-State basketball, night in, night out, and what they've been able to do. And it's a good group of guys. Even I think last year we had some of those guys, and I don't know if the coaching staff pushed them to come out and watch. But they actually came to Wichita and watched us play in the TBT. And I wouldn't expect anything else this year as well. And so it's just fun to seeing the guys. We're supporting them, they're supporting us, and that's the culture that Coach Tang is building at Kansas State, which is really really fun to be around.
Yeah, having the guys, come to the game. I think Cam had talked to the ESPN analysts at halftime. It was great. I loved it. It was perfect for them, to get around us. I know we didn't spend as much time with them during TBT, in Wichita, but just having them come up for the game was great. We truly appreciated it. And we felt their energy because like they was literally sitting across from us cheering for us. And they don't really know us from a hole in the wall, just knowing that we were in their shoes in the past. So just for them to be up there and come out and support is big time, for sure.
We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. Welcome back to the show. Let's head back to the studio.
I mean, let's switch gears and talk about the scrimmage now with KU. I mean, you guys are coming together, right? And it's not necessarily sort of that rivalry like it used to be, but I'm sure you guys want to win that. But more importantly, guys, it's a fundraising event, right? To kind of get more awareness and stuff like that for the TBT and for Purple Rain.
Yeah. So the one of the biggest things with that is, I think the fans are going to see it as a rivalry. We won't. I mean, we know deep down it's always going to be that niche of just, we used to compete against one another and, blood, sweat, and tears. That's just kind of how the rivalry's been. But, for Tyshawn Taylor's their GM. He's running things over there. So for him, he's just been asking me a lot of different questions and just advice in general because he's new to doing it. And, Tyshawn's a good friend of mine. I've known Tyshawn since I was 13, 14 years old because he's from New Jersey and I'm from New York. So just seeing him in that chair of just being a GM and trying to handle things, I love to see it. And it was actually Tyshawn's idea about trying to come together to do something. And I told him, even with the time frame of things, let's try and make something work because I know it'll give the fans something to cheer for. And also, for the fans that can't make it out to Wichita, it's something for them to bring their kids to and for them to enjoy as well because we're trying to make this as family-oriented as possible, having it in Kansas City. So for us, I think it's a huge step for us just in general, towards, fundraising and just being able to engage with the fans that, that might not be able to make it to Wichita and just to continue to do it year by year.
Yeah, and I gotta plug the date and everything. So July 17th is going to be the date. It'll be at Johnson County Community College. I think we'll have some stuff on our social media pretty soon. So around that, and make sure that fans are looking out for that. They can follow us on Twitter, or I guess X, or Instagram. And they can see the updates for that as well. But it's going to be a fun event, and it'll be a chance for fans to interact. It'll be low cost for general seating. There'll be a little bit higher cost for some courtside seats, or a possible VIP experience, where those fans get a chance to really interact with our guys and KU guys as well. And so it's a good fundraiser for both teams. But I think at the end of the day, it's a relationship that we have with the community and with our fans, and that's what we enjoy doing. So it'll be the first time we've done something like this with it being KU K-State. We hope that it's going to be packed and sold out. I think it seats around a little over 2,000. It'd be nice to see that gym packed out, and we get to for fans get a chance to reminisce and see their favorite players, from back in the day, and for us get a chance to interact with those guys.
That's funny you mentioned Tyshawn. I ran into him about a year ago and kind of told him what I do and stuff, and we went to talking for a while, and he was a real good dude, and I was kind of picking his brain about that rivalry with K-State, and he was raving about guys like Jacob Pullen, these guys that he played up against. And at the end of the day, you guys are all kind of doing the same thing. You want to win those games, of course, but there's a lot of respect, I think, that goes with playing in the Big 12, playing your rival. So that should be a lot of fun. What does KU's roster look like? Do you guys know off the top of your head?
I know a few guys like Frank Mason, Thomas Robinson are like some of their top guys. I would assume they have, a lot of their guys back from a year ago. I know they weren't deep from a roster standpoint, but I believe this year they are much deeper. I don't know everybody on their roster, but I know for sure Thomas Robinson, Frank Mason are playing this year in TBT, and they'll be there at the scrimmage for sure.
All right, any KU fans listening, this is your chance. You can go see your KU players too. But what do you guys think the key is to making a deep run in the TBT? Is it just having dudes on your team being able to win? Is it the depth? Is it the scouting? Like, I'm sure that you guys, coaches on the coaching staff, you guys are preparing how to beat Colorado, stuff like that. What are the kind of the biggest keys to making a run?
Roster depth is one of them. Just based on how these games overlap with one another in TBT, because it's a 2-week span of games you have to win. You have to win 5 of them. So, in order for you to do that, you gotta have the roster depth, and obviously it's scouting to an extent. It helps with knowing your first 2 opponents potentially, and then just being able to scout live as well. As you're winning and advancing, knowing what the team does on the court that you're potentially getting ready to play. Is huge. Making in-game adjustments as well. That's another thing because we're getting scouted as well. So it's not like anybody can hide their roster or hide what they're doing from game 1 to game 2 since it's such a short amount of time. There's not a lot of scouting you can do. Unless there's a team that you're playing has the same exact roster from the year before, you can go back into the archives and scout some of those games, but who's to tell if they're going to run the same stuff? So, you got to make moves on the fly, and that's why for us personally, having the depth from a staff standpoint helps because it's other minds that's tied into it, and they get to share what their opinions are on certain things, and that helps us collectively.
Yeah, I'd agree with all that, and I just kind of throw in too. Sometimes it can come down to a lucky bounce, and so every team's very competitive. Every team's good, and we hope to shoot the ball well. Obviously, we hope to defend well. I think those are going to be really keys. But sometimes at the end of the game, especially when you get down to the Elam, you got to have someone who can step up and obviously score the basketball. I vividly can remember a few years ago, Jacob making the game winner and running off the court, and from very deep. And sometimes you do need that lucky bounce, and we're hoping the ball falls our way. And our guys are prepared to play their best and then have fun as well. It's a fun time, and it's summer basketball. Obviously, we're playing for $1 million, but they should be relaxed and have fun doing it.
Yeah, I mean, Clent, we talked about this on the Friday shoot around a lot last season. There's a fine line with just winning and losing games, right? A bounce here, a missed shot there. I mean, that can kind of go and determine a game. But I'm sure for you guys as coaches, man, this is just got to be fun, right? To go out and coach and drop plays. I mean, Clint, I know you're kind of stepping away, at the moment away from Bartlesville at that high school. But, J.O., you're up at NIU, right, as an assistant. And so this is just an opportunity for obviously the players to go out and play and compete and win, but for you guys as coaches to have fun and learn and grow as a coach.
Absolutely. For us personally, me and Clint have the coaching experience as well as Curtis. So for us, it's just learning amongst one another. I ask Clint, I call Clint randomly sometimes. I think yesterday I might have called him at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning just to ask for his advice, just because he's been doing it longer. And I respect that and I appreciate that. And even for him to take his time, away from his family to be around us and even include his family as well, a part of TBT, man, we love that because, for years when I was playing in TBT for Purple and Black, I think we had Jacob Pullen's brother just coaching at the time. And it's funny because he's actually a coach today. And I think that motivated him. I'm not sure if he was a coach prior to coaching in TBT, but I believe that motivated him to continue coaching, and now he's been coaching since then. So just little things like that is motivation at the end of the day because, we are all K-State when it comes to the staff, and, we all have different type of experience. So for us, like Clint is the OG, and there's no sugarcoating that. That's just what it is. And whether it's at the high school, college level, NBA level, experience is experience. So, we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I'd say what I love the most is being able to collaborate with these guys. Obviously with Jo and Curtis, and then now Taze, kind of come along, and then the coaching room as well here with this, and just collaborate with ideas, right? As we're trying to figure out, what offense do we want to run, right? How do we want to guard certain actions? Because there's really no right and wrong. There's so many different ways, and so many are successful, right? It's just, can you get the guys to actually execute the way you want them to execute? Right. And so we have to be on the same page and decide, based upon our personnel, what do we think is best? And then can our guys execute that? And, it's fun just bouncing, ideas, off of, what Jo might have in mind from a play standpoint versus what, Curtis might have in mind, or how about this wrinkle, versus what I might have. And then we kind of ultimately come to a conclusion. Okay, well, this is what we want to, this is how we want to teach it, or this is what we want to do. And that's the fun part, is we're just kind of, when you have guys that know the game and then challenge each other, when that can really think the game and understand it, and then you're open to other perspectives as we are. That's what makes a lot of fun.
There's a lot of coaches now coming out of K-State, right? You two, obviously, and Kurt's over at UT Rio Grande Valley, right? Shane is up, and he's an assistant now at Northwestern in the Big Ten. So I know he's not, part of TBT, but it's nice to see these guys, guys like yourself going out and giving back with basketball. But I want to talk about the ending, the Elon ending, right? Walk me through that, because I can't remember. You get to a certain score, and you got to get 10 more to win, right?
It's 8, I believe it's 8. You got to score 8 plus 8. So if you're down 8, you got to score 16 to hit that target score. So for us, that's kind of like what we like to do, when we in training camp, or when we're having events open to the scrimmage, open to the public. We like to implicate the Elon Mending, because in all reality, that's what we have to face night in, night out with, being in the TBT. So for us, we try to put that in, into practice on different days, or if we're scrimmaging against local guys, we want the Elon Mending to be a part of it, just so that it gives our guys a real look, and then it gives the fans something to cheer about, because they're sometimes not familiar with the Elon Mending as well. So I like the Elon Mending. I wasn't a fan of it at first, and then I started realizing, like, wow, okay, the world is catching on to it. I'm just gonna like it now. So I didn't really have a choice at that point. But that was another point of, the roster depth. Is like, when you don't have the bodies, you're asking you guys to go into a game into the fourth quarter, when the clock cuts off at 4. So there's a dead ball. Once the dead ball, or if it's a foul, the clock cuts off at 4 minutes on the clock, and then they put the target score up. When you don't have the bodies, you're asking your guys for a lot more, and you could come out, you could tough it out and win, but then you probably got to play the next day and do it all over again. So that's where the roster depth really comes into play, and it was big time for us going into this year.
Yeah, and I'd say too, with the Elon ending, one of the things that's pretty interesting is there's strategy involved in it too. As Jo just mentioned, the clock kind of stops at that first under 4 a dead ball, and so as coaches, we got to think through, if we're up, do we want to call timeout so we make sure the clock stops and the Elam starts, right then? Or if we're down and we have the ball, we want to try to obviously score, to make it closer before the Elam ending, kicks in. And so there's also, just another element to the game that we have to be aware of and we have to be thinking about. And I'd say my job as an assistant coach, right, is as Jo is up and letting the team know what to do. Hey, don't forget about the Elam. I gotta keep him, reminded about that, because he has so many other things, going on that he's trying to watch and things. So makes it fun though. Just another strategy and strategy element to the game that's pretty cool.
It's fun. I mean, you have to win on a game winner, right? You got to make a shot to win the game, essentially. Even if you're up by 50 points, you've got to win on a game winner. That's what Jacob Pullen's shot was, right? It was an Elam ending shot, right? So it creates more excitement for that tournament. But guys, we'll wrap it up with this. I know we talked about some of the events in Manhattan with the scrimmage with KU. Walk everybody through one more time if they missed it, the dates and all those locations and stuff.
Yeah, so for the camp in Manhattan, we'll be on at Manhattan Christian College, July 15th and 16th, and then July 17th we'll be at Johnson County Community College, I believe at 6 p.m. We'll start it up. Doors will open at 5:30, and then we'll have a great time. We plan on having Willie the Wildcat there. I believe they'll plan on having a Jayhawk there, just for the kids and the families to, take pictures. we'll do the autograph signing after as well. And then in Wichita, even in Manhattan, we'll also be having a live auction at, I believe, Rock and K's on the, I can tell you right now. We'll be at Rock and K's meet and greet. Yes, so July 15th. July 15th, we'll be at, let's see. I want to make sure it's Rock and K's. I don't want to give out the wrong information.
There's Rockin' K's and Mr. K's, man. I always get it confused still to this day.
Yeah. So many emails. Sorry.
Oh, you're all good, man. Pretty popular person, aren't you?
Just, yeah. So it's, I don't. I'm very humble, man. I don't. Not popular, just trying to stay relevant. But yes, we'll be at Rockin' K's on Monday. I believe that's not too far from, Bramlage. That's right across the street at the.
Yep.
I forget what name of that building, but yeah, we'll be at Rockin' K's, and we'll have a live auction there as well. So, somebody might get a Jacob Pullen Elite 8 worn sneaker being auctioned off. I have no idea. It depends on what Jacob wants to bring. But I always tell my guys, if we're doing a live auction, if you're okay with, auctioning off some valuable things that you've kept for over the years, then, more power to you. Let's do it. So the money goes in your pocket. So
Jordan Henriquez, all time, the shot block that got you to be number one in K-State history. Clent Stewart, the game ball from the last time a K-State team won in Allen. Okay.
Hey, all right.
Right.
I do have that still in the case.
Yeah. That's legend. That's legendary.
Yeah. But our first game, we got to also, our first game is the July 20th. So that's when we'll be in Wichita against Team Colorado at 2 p.m. And so it'll be on FS2, I believe. But, we'd love to see people come out and support us in Wichita and pack that stadium with purple.
Yep. And then based on our final roster, if we have one spot available, we'll be selling it to a fan that would want to be a part of the team. They'll get their own jersey. They'll be able to sit on the bench with us during the game, and they'll get the full experience from top to bottom.
Well, guys, I got cut from my high school team, but I go out. I go play at the rec all the time, man. You need a sharpshooter, I'm your guy.
Okay, bet. Let me know when you go to the rec, man. When I'm in Manhattan, I might run point. I don't know about going down and posting up. I might run point though.
I'll let you know, man. Well, guys, I appreciate your time. Obviously, Clent mentioned it's on FS1. I think FS2 is the first game, but assuming you guys can get that win, I think the next one's on FS1. So if you can't make it, you don't live in the area, obviously those will be on TV as well. So, guys, we'll try to link up. We'll link up when you guys are in Manhattan, and we'll see you soon. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Always.
This has been a GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street production. Please support this show by subscribing to this YouTube channel or follow us on your favorite podcast platform.